Manila, 1989. A bank teller is counting $100 bills and one of them stops her. She can't say exactly why. It feels right. It looks right. The paper is right. But some instinct built from handling thousands of notes, tells her to set it aside. That single bill is sent to the United States Secret Service, and it triggers an investigation that will run for decades, because that note is not just a good fake. It is, by the Secret Service's own assessment, the finest counterfeit banknote ever made. So good it earns a nickname no forgery had ever deserved, the superdollar. It was printed on the same kind of paper as a real 100. It carried the same raised, engraved texture. Later versions even shifted color when you tilted them. It defeated the defenses of the most important banknote on the planet. And after more than 30 years, one enormous question about it has never been answered. Who made it? To understand why the superdollar terrified investigators, you have to remember what we've learned across this series. The US $100 bill is built to be almost impossible to fake. It's not printed on paper you can buy. It's a specific blend. 75% cotton, 25% linen, controlled and restricted. It uses intaglio, the deep, engraved, raised ink you can feel with a fingertip, pressed by machines the size of a room. It hides microprinting, embedded threads, and inks that behave in ways an ordinary printer cannot copy. A normal counterfeiter fails at the very first step. The paper, the superdollar, didn't. Somehow, its makers had the exact currency-grade cotton linen stock. They had genuine intaglio presses, the same rare, heavy, restricted machines used by national mints. They had the color-shifting ink. They had everything. Investigators reached an unsettling conclusion almost immediately. This was not the work of criminals in a basement. As one banking expert put it, you would need a facility worth $100 million to make notes this good. Whoever printed the superdollar had the resources of a government. With that realization, the case stopped being about crime and became about geopolitics. If a state was printing perfect American money, it wasn't just theft. It was an attack on the dollar itself. And the hunt for the source spanned the globe. The early theories read like a spy novel. One pointed to Lebanon, another to Iran. The idea that the Shah's government, decades earlier, had bought genuine intaglio presses from the West, and that after the revolution, those machines were turned to printing fake dollars, moved through Syria. For years, investigators chased leads across the Middle East and beyond, and never nailed it down. The bills kept evolving. Each time the US adjusted its currency, a new, improved superdollar would appear, corrected, updated, matching the changes. Whoever was behind it wasn't a one-time forger. They were a patient, well-funded institution, tracking the real dollar and keeping pace with it, year after year. And slowly, US investigators settled on a prime suspect, one of the most closed, secretive states on Earth. The country the United States came to accuse was North Korea. According to US investigators, the operation was run through a secretive government body, sometimes called Room 39, said to raise foreign currency for the regime through activities the outside world would call criminal. The theory, a cash-starved, heavily sanctioned state, printing the currency of its greatest enemy to fund itself. Counterfeiting as statecraft. There was supporting evidence. Supernotes turned up near the China-North Korea border. Defectors described a state counterfeiting program. And in 2005, the US moved hard, targeting a bank in Macau, Banco Delta Asia, accused of laundering North Korean superdollars and freezing tens of millions in assets. But, and this is the part almost every telling of this story leaves out, it was never proven. The United States' own Congressional Research Service noted considerable doubt that North Korea even had the capability to produce fakes this perfect. The hard evidence was classified as intelligence and never made public. North Korea flatly denied it. And confusing the picture further, a British crime ring was caught making hundreds of thousands of high-grade fake, hundreds of its own. So we're left with a genuine mystery, a leading accusation backed by a superpower, and reasonable documented doubt sitting right beside it. The most damaging counterfeit in modern history, and no one has ever stood in a court and been convicted of creating it. Whoever was really behind the superdollar, the United States could not let its most trusted banknotes stay vulnerable. So it did something dramatic. It changed the $100 bill itself. In 2013, after years of development, a redesigned 100 entered circulation, bristling with new defenses aimed squarely at the superdollar problem. A 3D security ribbon woven into the paper with images that move and scroll as you tilt the note. A color-shifting bell hidden inside an inkwell that appears and vanishes. Microprinting and layered features extraordinarily hard to reproduce, even with a state's resources. This is the same arms race we watched last episode. A perfect fake appears. The defense evolves. The note is reborn, harder than before. The superdollar didn't destroy the dollar. It upgraded it. And then something strange happened. After 2013, the superdollars largely vanished. Fewer turned up. The trail went quiet. Whether the new design defeated them, whether the source shut down, or whether, as some experts quietly suggest, detections are simply being kept secret to protect confidence in the dollar. No one outside the intelligence world can say for certain. So what does the superdollar leave us with? A mystery, yes, but also a lesson about what money really is. A $100 bill has no value in itself. It's cotton and linen and ink. Its entire worth rests on a single, shared belief that it's real. The superdollar was so dangerous precisely because it attacked that belief. If people can't tell the real note from the fake, the fear alone can do the damage, which is exactly why, if detections are still happening, you might never be told. It also shows how thin the line is between crime and warfare. A perfect fake bill, made at national scale, isn't petty theft. It's a weapon aimed at the trust that holds an economy together, the same weapon the Nazis reached for 80 years earlier against the pound. The tools change, the target never does. But here's the thing about a war fought over physical banknotes. It only matters as long as physical banknotes do. And back in episode 3, we watched governments across the world try to replace them with digital money and fail. The digital dollar was banned. The digital euro stalled. Cash survived. Except that's not the end of that story, because while the world was watching the governments, somebody else quietly built the digital dollar instead. Not a central bank. Private companies, and they now hold hundreds of billions of it. Next time, the season finale. The new money printers, how private firms became the issuers of digital dollars, why banks are warning that trillions could drain out of the financial system, and what it means when the most trusted currency on earth is issued by a company. Subscribe. This is where the whole story has been heading.